Sorry, guys. Dodging bullets here. Still at the Civil War site. We're at a different one today. This is Shadows Ferry. So we're just watching out. Harper's Ferry. Hard to think when all these bullets are flying over your head. Whew. All right, I'm gonna hide here behind this fence. Hopefully they can't see me. So we're continuing on with our RSG today, guys. We are on chapter 15, section 3. Whoa, sorry, a lot going on. So let's go ahead and we're gonna review some of our terms and names, and then I actually have some pictures to pull up while we're doing the reading. I think that will help you just kind of see some of these people's faces and just trying to come up with a little bit more things for us to interact with. So let's go ahead and review our terms and names real quick. First, we're going to be looking at the Republican Party. So the Republican Party is the anti-slavery political party that formed in the 1850s. And we have John C. Fremont, Republican Party candidate in the 1856 presidential election. We have James Buchanan, 15th president. Then we're going to have the Dred Scott versus Sanford. It was a court case that extended the rights of slaveholders and limited legal efforts to challenge slavery. We have Roger B. Taney, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who wrote the lead opinion in the Dred Scott case. Abraham Lincoln, Illinois Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate in 1858. And then we have Harper's Ferry. It's the location we're at right now. It's a location of U.S. Arsenal in Virginia, which was raided by John Brown. All right, you guys, let's get right into it. We're going to be looking for the answer. Why did the Republicans nominate Fremont for the presidency in 1856? All right, so the Republican Party forms. The Whig Party split over the issues of slavery. The Southern Whigs were destroyed by the split. A few Southern Whigs joined the Democratic Party. Most searched for leaders who supported slavery and the Union. Let me real quick share my screen with you before continuing on. Okay. Real quick, you guys. It's not the screen I wanted to share. Let me Oh, can't minimize Zoom while we're recording. Okay, let me pause this, go bring up the other page, and then we'll continue on, okay? All right, here we go, guys. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen with you now. Okay, so we should still be recording, and these are the two platforms here. We have the Democratic platform. This is a political cartoon. You can see it says it's for the white man, and the Republican platform is for the Negro. So you can kind of see the direction these political cartoons were going for, trying to support the Democratic Party and slavery, trying to shed a negative light on the Republican Party. And then we have Colonel Fremont, again, a political cartoon. He was a colonel, and it shows him putting a flag up on the Colorado Rockies. So let's continue on with our reading now. The second paragraph. The Northern Whigs, however, joined with other slavery opponents and formed the Republican Party. The Republicans quickly gained support in the North. Many Northerners blamed the Democratic Party for the violence in Kansas. In the 1856 presidential election, the Republicans nominated John C. Fremont. They supported him because he was in favor of admitting California and Kansas as free states. He was also young, handsome, and a war hero. But the Republican position on slavery was very unpopular in the South. Fremont's name did not even appear on the ballot there. So why did the Republicans nominate Fremont for the presidency in 1856? Go ahead and pause this, annotate, and come back and we'll go over the answer. All right, so what is the answer? Who can tell us? Max, go ahead. Correct, sir. Very good. He wanted California and Kansas admitted as free states. And he was young, handsome war hero. All right, and that's going to be the third paragraph, your annotations, you guys. All right, going on to the part 2. Who were the candidates in the 1856 election and what parties did they represent? So we're going to have 3 candidates. We want you to write who the 3 candidates were and what were their parties. Sorry, this battlefield makes you thirsty, I'm telling you. All right, you guys, the election of 1856. The Democrats nominated James Buchanan for the presidency in 1856. He said little about slavery. He said his goal was to keep the Union together. Southerners supported him. Some Northerners also supported him because they were afraid that the nation would split apart if Fremont was elected. The Know Nothing Party, yes, there was a party called the Know Nothing Party. They nominated Millard Fillmore. He had been president following the death of President Zachary Taylor. The Know Nothing Party had little strength because it was divided over slavery. The 1856 election became 2 separate races in the North. It was Buchanan against Fremont. In the South, it was Buchanan against Fillmore. Buchanan won the election. So although Fremont lost, he did win 11 northern states, and this showed that the Republican Party was an important force in the North. It also showed that the nation was sharply split over slavery. So who were the candidates in the 1856 election and what parties did they represent? Go ahead and pause this and write their names down and their parties. All right, so what did we come up with? Alex, go ahead and tell us. That's all right, buddy, good job. John Fremont was the Republican Party. James Buchanan was the Democratic Party. And Millard Fillmore was the Know Nothing Party. All right, you guys, let's go on to the case of Dred Scott. So number 3, what was the Supreme Court ruling in the Dred Scott case? Oh, let me pull up the pictures. I apologize. James Buchanan, here's the picture of who he was, and Millard Fillmore. Okay, and then again, we saw the political cartoon a moment ago of Fremont. But these were the 2 candidates. Kind of look similar a little bit. Okay, let's move on. So here is Dred Scott, and then this is Roger B. Taney as well. And these are the 2 men we're going to read about in this section. So that was Dred Scott in the Dred Scott case. All right, so Dred Scott was a slave who had been taken by his master into free states. Scott claimed that being in free states made him a free man. He sued for his freedom. His case, Dred Scott versus Sanford, reached the Supreme Court in 1856. The Supreme Court, under Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, the guy in the picture there, he ruled that Dred Scott was not a U.S. citizen, and as a result, he could not sue in U.S. courts. So the court also ruled that slaves were property. As such, slaveholders' rights to own slaves was protected by the Constitution. Southerners supported the decision. Northerners looked to the Republican Party to stop the growing power of the Southern slaveholders. All right, so what was the Supreme Court ruling in the Dred Scott case? Go ahead and pause it and come up with the answer. All right, so what did you guys come up with? Alina, go ahead and tell us. Fantastic. Dred Scott was not a U.S. citizen and could not sue in the U.S. court. Also, slaves were property. All right, let's look at Lincoln and Douglas debate. I have a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Most of us recognize him from his hat and his beard, but this is a picture without his hat and a picture before he had his beard when he was much younger. Kind of see his face a little bit more, what he looked like. All right. So a question we're looking for, what was the main issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates? I'm sure you could probably already come up with what the main issue was, but let's go ahead and read it. After the Dred Scott decision, the Republicans charged that the Democrats wanted to make slavery legal in all U.S. states and territories. Senator Stephen A. Douglas, a Democrat from Illinois, was one of their main targets. In 1858, Stephen Douglas ran for re-election to the Senate. Republican Abraham Lincoln ran against him. Lincoln and Douglas held a series of debates about the expansion of slavery. Lincoln argued that slavery should not be expanded. Douglas argued that voters in each territory should decide the slavery issue for themselves. Douglas won the election, but the Lincoln-Douglas debate made Lincoln a national figure. All right, go ahead and pause it and write down the answer and annotate your section. All right, who can give us what the answer is? What was the main issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debate? Madison. Fantastic, that's right. The main issue was the expansion of slavery. All right, and our last part here. John Brown attacks Harper's Ferry. Here is a picture of John Brown, and here is a picture of Harper's Ferry in Virginia. All right, so why did John Brown attack the arsenal at Harper's Ferry? So in 1859, John Brown wanted to inspire slaves to fight for their freedom. He planned to capture the weapons in the U.S. arsenal at Harper's Ferry, Virginia. He hoped to inspire slaves to rebel against slavery. On October 16, 1859, Brown and his followers captured the arsenal. He sent out the word to arm local slaves, but no slaves joined with Brown. Brown and his followers were captured by the U.S. Marines. They were tried, convicted, and executed. Brown was praised in the North for his fight against slavery. Southerners were furious at the reaction of Northerners to Brown's execution. All right, so why did John Brown attack the arsenal at Harper's Ferry? Alex. Very good. He wanted to capture weapons and inspire slaves to fight for their freedom. All right, you guys. Excellent job. So, again, brought some pictures into this time to kind of help us a little bit, just make it more interactive. I'm going to keep playing with this format, keep trying to make it a little bit more entertaining and making it helpful for you guys. Yeah, make it more like class. So you guys are doing great. Keep up the hard work. Okay, keep doing a unit of RSG every day. I'll keep sending you guys some videos for it and reviewing the answers. But you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.